Ikigai, and we would really wish everyone the very best starting today. Hopefully, they get a clearer handle on what is Ikigai and how can that make them better professionally and personally. So, you know, as you've given a great introduction to Major Anil and Sumedha, once again, it's my honor to have them. They have done yeoman service to the country, and like I always tell Anil, how's the Josh? And I'm sure it's always high for him. And Anil, let's rock on. Let's start the deck. Thank you, Anil. We will. Right. So we're going to take you through the deck. Couple of key points we will explain in detail. The core 10 principles of Ikigai, the Ikigai framework, and the zones. I think most of you would have taken the assessment to figure out which zone of Ikigai quotient are you in. So, so the program, as you know, is Ikigai Quest, Happiness Quotient online for Hyundai. And why do you need Ikigai in the new normal? Employees today are wanting to work in a thriving environment that provides positive flourishing. The biggest buzzwords today are resilience and purpose. And how do we achieve that? So we need to have a 360 degrees balance going forward. The world has changed completely. We are not going to go back and at the workplace, as an employee, as a vendor, as a distributor, as a manager, as a leader, it's all changed. And 5 months ago, if someone told you that you're going to work 5 months consecutively at home, you wouldn't have believed it, right? But it's true, and you're working, and the world has moved on. Customers are buying. I believe you all are nearly reaching good level of sales back again, which is great news. And I'm sure with the plans that Abhi and Core have, you will do very well going forward. So everyone has an Ikigai, as Abhi explained. It is a proven Japanese concept of over 300 years. And it essentially means, what's your reason of being? Why do you wake up in the morning? Do you wake up in the morning charged up? Do you wake up in the morning with a clear reason? If you don't have one, then I would say your mission is to discover it. So today, what are we going to cover? We're going to have audio video led sessions. There will be some interactive experiential activities. The Ikigai quotient baselining assessment that I believe most of you have done. Then you have the Explorer, which is the framework. Then there would be some self-reflection tools. The program is for 90 minutes, but we are happy to take more Q&A, which benefits the entire community. So some of the quotes on Ikigai. So Ikigai is like running, not a sprint. Ikigai is lifelong. It is not something, a 30-day journey, 90-day journey. It is for life. In the pursuit of our purpose, we are what we repeatedly do. Passion then is not an act, but an habit. So we need to make passion our habit. When you launch yourself, you're ready to let go of your obsessions and see things that matter to you in a more obvious and positive light. One of my favorites, Ikigai, is a part of sustainable intrinsic happiness, and that's really the goal. It is how do you do your activities and how do you have your framework which gives you sustainable intrinsic happiness, not momentary happiness. Um, Finally, Ikigai resides in the realm of small things: the morning air, the cup of coffee, the ray of sunshine, the walk with your pet dog, and the loved one's praise are all on equal footing. Only those who can recognize the richness of this whole spectrum really appreciate and enjoy it. This is more in detail about the online program that we have. We won't spend too much time. People who are interested will, we will contact them or they can do us. So this is what we dive into straight. This is the core of Ikigai, the 10 core principles. Between Anil, Sumedha, and me, we will talk to you about it and give you some experiences, anecdotal experiences, so you could relate to that. So the first one is called finding the flow, Nagareru. So finding the flow. So what is it that you can do at your workplace, professionally, that you lose a sense of time? What is that thing that makes you so passionate about your core job that you absolutely look forward to hitting your work every morning? So that's essentially called finding the flow. So when you are playing probably a sport, example, a tennis game, and you played 3 sets, you didn't realize that you actually spent 2 hours, enjoyed it. So that's an example from a sporting parlance. Or at work, you're launching a new product, you are burning the middle, and it's been weeks that you probably didn't see the gym, or you didn't see the sunshine, but you didn't realize how fast time flew. So that's basically what we call finding the flow, and that's one of the core principles of Ikigai, and that's what they. So Ikigai originates from Okinawa in Japan. It's one of the it's the number one blue zone in the world. There are 5 places in the world where people live the longest. Okinawa is the number one. And here you have 80-year-old, 90-year-old citizens playing tennis. They wake up in the morning, do gardening. They go to their friend's house and have a cup of green tea. Then they go to the garden, the public garden, and tea. And day flows beautifully. So that's something that I could say about finding the flow. The second one, I hope, Samir, my audio is clear.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, brilliant. The second one, take it slow, call Yukuri. Um, you, you know, we have to be very, very patient. Like I said, it is a marathon. Life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Year after year, you've got to do the same thing, probably better, become a better individual personally and professionally, and that takes time. So one of my personal experiences which I fondly remember is when we climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. That's in Tanzania. It's the world's tallest freestanding mountain at 6,000 meters, nearly 6,000 meters. So the summit night, you basically start at 11 in the morning because the winds are pretty still, and you're doing at minus 25 degrees with the wind chill factor. You have 8 layers of clothing. Every breath is slow and labored because oxygen is very rare, and you walk slowly, one step at a time. And it takes 8 hours in those grueling conditions to reach the summit. So the Tanzanian guide would always tell us pole pole. What does pole pole mean? Pole pole means take it slow, one step at a time. And when you reach the summit and you see the sun coming out from nearly the top of the world, you realize what it means, taking it slow, one step at a time. The third one, 80% food rule, and that's one of the secrets of their longevity, is hara hachibu. So basically, what does it mean? That you eat most healthy, they have a healthy diet, but you eat to 80% of your capacity. So if you can have 4 chapatis, probably eat 3. If you can have 2 laddus, probably have 1.5. And leave that 20% to burn your body. Do not overstuff yourself. So obviously there's no overstuffing with the 80% food rule, but they follow it to the T. So they have a very good diet. but they always have a 80% food rule, which is called hara achibu. Number 4, connect, is moi. Moi is a group of friends in Japan which basically they look after themselves as good as family. So they look after each other financially, socially, emotionally, physically. So in these really trying times when a lot of us do not live in the city from where we born, we don't have a family to rely upon. We don't have them to lean on. So do we have a beautiful set of friends whom we can relate to? Because loneliness, as you know, is a massive silent killer. We need to connect to people. We need to build relationships at work, outside work. So that's why it becomes super, super important. Over to you, Sumedha.
Yeah, before Sumedha takes on, I have one question for the audience. You can go on your chat and maybe think about something that make you smile.
Yeah, what today?
I would like you to participate in being here. So that's making me smile talking to you.
Hmm. Yeah, eating mangoes.
Ah, good
That's
one.
a good one.
I had mangoes with
Can you send me some Bombay mein nahi? My son's smiling face. I'd love it. Abhi, my son, my daughter's words. They're beautiful. Yeah. Okay.
point two. Take it slow. Very well, take see.
Oh yeah, no. For a while. Yeah, but Petrichor. So if you know what's Petrichor, it's beautiful. My child talking. Absolutely. My mother's improved well. God bless. Teaching. Great. Mayank will log you in.
Sonali,
Next call.
smiling faces. Good one.
Lovely, lovely. We're getting some nice responses. Cup of tea, watching my garden. Lovely. Garden is very therapeutic. Um, uh,
No,
okay.
nobody's actually written lots of money. I'm just
First
waiting.
flower in my terrace. Yeah, that's true, Anil. First flower in my terrace garden. Lovely.
We
Cheese
haven't
के
seen.
बारे में बात ही नहीं कर रहा है.
We
Cheese
haven't.
burst pizza. ये कौन है यार? Sonali. Fantastic. I hope it's a thin crust one.
I think we'll let it be. Sumedha, take
Let's
over.
go. Sumedha, go for it.
Don't worry, guys. My video has not frozen, so I've been just smiling and just take a moment and see if you know. And also, I'm smiling because after reading your responses, and somebody has written it very aptly that seeing someone also makes us smile. Which brings me back to one of the anecdote while I was serving with the Air Force. So every day morning when you go to the office at the gate, there is always a guard who salutes you and checks your card. And his only duty or the mundane job is to salute every vehicle coming in and going out of the station. So yeah, sounds like a very boring job. In all my years, it was the first time that I came across a person and he's checking my iCard when I'm going to the office 7 o'clock in the morning, and he's smiling all the time. And trust me, it made me feel so nice. And why I still remember that guy is because he was the only one who smiled during that job on that day, and it actually made my day very early in the morning. So smiling is important, and we always keep hearing that it reduces stress, or it also releases the hormones which makes us happy. So that's why we should keep smiling, and definitely connecting with all of you is making me smile today.
So the next is reconnect with nature. So living in our city life, we realize that we become city dwellers, but you would have to put your clock back to your forefathers and see that 10,000 years ago, that was the time when human beings actually moved out from jungles and started becoming settlers. So our essence, the human essence, is primarily with the nature. So Shizen, what the Japanese do is they try to go back to the nature. And it's so important to be connected with the nature because our essence, our upbringing, our wiring, our brain feels much more at home when we are closer to the nature. So one of the principles is reconnect with nature. That means try and find out in your existence in the city some nature. Go out, spend time with the flowers, spend time, and if you can go out, spend time in the mountains, go to the lakes, and you would see that it will bring a lot of smoothness, a lot of calmness in your brain, and you'll be able to feel much at ease. The next is give thanks. I think that's so important. I remember when I moved to Spain for the first time, that was my first time after leaving the army and I'd gone out abroad. What surprised me was every time you get into the lift, any number of people who are there, they always say, hola, buenos dias. That means hello, good morning. And whenever, if somebody's getting off on the fifth floor or the eighth floor or the ninth floor, they always say adios, means goodbye. And everything that they would do, they would thank you. If I give a little space, they would say gracias. If I move, open the door for them, again there's gracias. So the whole day I would basically listen to these three words, adios, gracias, and buenos dias, depending on the day or afternoon or the evening, like 500 times. And it's so important. It's not just important for you as individuals, but it's also important for the society. So if we just imagine if you start giving thanks, and especially for you who are into customer facing, or into a job which is primarily selling electronic goods, and you are a customer oriented team, giving thanks is so important. Next is healthy mind, body, and soul. I would say it's need of the hour, especially if your body and soul are healthy, your mind would definitely be healthy, because we are basically souls who are living in this body. This is very important for us, that as souls, we look after our body. Many people who talk about religion, they say that we are the part of that soul, which is the God. And this body is a temple in which this soul is living, the God is living. So do take out some time, and that's what Japanese do. They take out some time, they do Tai Chi, they do, even yoga is very, very famous now in all over Japan. People do walking, running, do gardening. Keep your mind, body, and soul healthy. That's so important, and that's what Japanese do, and they call it Nen. Sumedha, you have to live in the moment now.
Yeah, I echo what you said, Anil sir, and I feel that all of us right now present here during, quote a very example which is very close to me. So I am a paraglider. Imagine that I am on my descent while I'm flying, and after a sortie of maybe 30-40 minutes when I'm tired and I'm on a descent, and I've already identified the zone in which I want to land, and I'm making the S turns to come down. And while taking those S turns, because they are to be very calculated, my judgment has to be very right to be spot on in that zone. So in case, imagine if I'm not in that moment and I'm thinking of what I have to do after this, I have to go back home, this is the work pending, or what I did yesterday. If all those thoughts are going, God saves me, I'm definitely going to miss my landing zone, and I might break my back or my knees, so which is not a very good idea. So life is not always that bad. Most of the accidents definitely happen when we are not in the moment. So that is why it's ichigo ichi e, that you should live in the moment, and it is so important. So even if all of you, because we are connected on this digital platform, if at all you are getting distracted, it's pretty natural to get distracted. But the aim is that have an anchor and come back. So just count with me: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and please come back to this session, and we have lots more to explore today.
So taking on,
That's a good one, Sumit, a good one.
yeah. So my thing about living in the moment, which in fact I was asking my daughter before the session starts. I always say this the only one moment that you have, because past is history, future we don't know, future is mystery. All you have is now. So which is what we should all do. We should live in the moment. We should live in the now. I get reminded of the book that I read. In fact, I've read it a couple of times by Eckhart Tolle, which is titled Power of Now. And what he says is there's nothing that you have except what you have now. And it's so true. If you look back and you think about the past, then you'll always have a little bit of, anxiety, anguish. And when if you look at the uncertainties, and especially now when you're living in a very VUCA world, everything is so volatile, uncertain, things are so complex. So if you start worrying about what's going to be in the future and dwell upon it too much, you will miss out the moment that you have at this moment in the now. And that brings us to Koshikin Agero, which translates into follow your passion. I remember, looking at us when we were growing up, when we were about 7 years of age, 10 years of age, 14 years of age. We were always had something where we were in the zone. We were passionate about something. And if you all recollect back and transport yourself back to when you were 7 years old, you would think about times when what were you passionate about? What were those things that you really liked? And would you be were you able to do and follow your passion? It's so important. Even if you were passionate about painting, or you were passionate about playing sports, you were passionate about maths, you were passionate about music, you're passionate about you've not been able to follow those passions, it's never too late. That's why when Manoj was saying Ikigai is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And you can always go back to those passions and follow those passions. Because once you follow those passions, that's when your soul is at peace. That's when you are in the zone. That's when you are connecting to yourself and to the outside world. And that's when, as Rumi says, it's, there's a famous saying, the universe is very intelligent. So when you follow your passion, the universe starts working with you and gives you more and more successes. So we'll again put you in one more question. We've covered the principles at the moment. We would like you to participate. What do you think? What do you think when you are maybe retired from your job? What do you want to be? What do you want to have? What do you want to have achieved living these 10 principles? Do you want what Manoj? You can give some name, some.
Yes.
Some.
Yeah. So the first one is rich. Second is famous. Third is married to the most beautiful person in the world. And number 4, happy. We'll give you 4 options. I will repeat: rich, famous, married to the most beautiful person in the world, and number 4, happy.
Okay, we're getting some
Guys,
Happy.
don't copy the answers.
Oh, everybody's happy. 3 options, I'm okay.
Acha, but Abhi, Abhi,
You need to unmute.
Yes, Manny. That's yeah, Anil.
okay.
I've heard you manage this very well. So
I think a quarter century experience makes it happen.
Lovely.
And
I'm
then
still
you're
only 14, Manny. So years to go now.
I'm happy with my wife. Anurag says, okay, yeah. God bless Abhi. I'm happy with married life. Okay, you're putting 2. If you have to choose one, ideally, Suresh. Yoga trainer, if that is an option. Okay, okay. That's like a profession you're choosing.
okay, Manny. Let's move
Let's
ahead.
go. Yeah, we are doing good on time. I'm so happy. Okay, great. Let's go to the next.
Yeah, just 1 second.
We're going to play a small video. It's a purpose framework, so for people can understand how to draw the Ikigai framework. It's a short video, and then we will explain it to you in a slide. Just bear with us.
So the last point that I was talking about was finding your purpose, maybe your passion. So this is just a small framework that we've come up with. So first you have to find out what you are good at. Most important, what do you love? It could be making videos, somebody volunteering, somebody wanting to make a sale of some electronic goods every single day. What does the world need? I think Abhishek needs something in sense of being a team leader, that your team should be all working in tandem, making more and more sales.
2x of last year.
Yeah. What are you paid for? So
not 2x, little more.
Okay, Dil mange
You're a
more.
startup,
I get
Manny.
it.
Don't forget that.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So the purpose is a combination of what you're good at, what you love, what the world needs, and what you're paid for. Just give me another sec. Manoj.
Yes. So if you see this slide, we have put 2 frameworks. One is your purpose of self, which is the top left-hand corner. The bottom right-hand corner is purpose of the company. And in between that, on top right, you would see the calling, which is the sweet spot between your job, your compelling career, and your meaningful purpose. On the left-hand side, the bottom left-hand side, you can see is a human being in search of his or her passion, purpose. So I would start by explaining the Ikigai framework, which is for the personal. So it starts with what are you good at? So you got to list down what are you good at as an employee, as a vendor, as a distributor, as a leader. Then you move to what you love doing. Then you go to what the world needs, and this is for the individual. Finally, what can you be paid for? The intersection of what are you good at and what you love is called passion. The intersection of what you love and what the world needs, mission. The intersection of what the world needs and what you can be paid for is vocation. And the last one, what you can be paid for and what you're good at is called profession. Now you crystallize probably 4 or 5 points each. The common points go into the passion, mission, vocation, profession. And from there, the common points then go into the sweet spot. And that's really how It's an iterative process. It takes time. It doesn't come overnight. You got to keep working on it. So that's why the 10 principles will help you with that. Coming on to the other side, what the company needs. So when you, in today's environment, what does the company need? So what does Abhi get midnight calls from his directors saying, Abhi, this is an idea. Can we do this? Can we boost up sales, the startup culture? What can the company be paid for revenues? A new line. Now, I mean, what's happening in the last 5 months? People are staying at home. Home entertainment has gone up. Internet-based entertainment, phone calls, all of that. So technology, again, it's technology. And you guys are probably in the sweet spot. I am sure Abhi realizes that, and he knows it, and he's driving the team beautifully and motivating all of you, and the extended family. It's not only employees, everyone needs to be part of that journey. What are you good at about your work? So at your workplace, and then what do you love about your work? So these are the two frameworks. When there's congruence between the two, obviously then, there's no looking back for the company and no looking back for you as an employee or as a distributor or as a vendor. You are all connected and the world is connected. So like Steve Jobs says, you can only connect looking back. You connect the dots looking back, not looking forward. So this is broadly the Ikigai framework. Anil, would you like to add something on it?
Yeah, I think both as individuals as company, if we try and work on this framework, jot down points on what you love, what the world needs, and then slowly move inside. So it's just like a broad framework. It's very broad. You can have 10 points that probably you may not have 10 points on what you love or what you're good at, but surely what you can be paid for, there'll be many things that you can be paid for. What the world needs, it's so important. There's so many things the world needs. We are in a very complex situation at the moment. You'll have to think out of the box what the world is needing at this moment, and then have a interplay of these things. If you can interpolate what you love and what you're good at and map it onto what the world needs, and there's a synergy in that, that's where you would find that you would be at your best. What you'll be doing, you'll be at the best of your capabilities. So you'll have to work inwards, take a notebook and a pen and write these things down. And the similar way, I think, as Manoj was saying, if there's a synergy between what the company needs and what as a group that you need, so you can do this exercise both, not just as we tell our audience that it's not just the individual who can do this exercise, even the companies can do this exercise. And when there is a synergy between the objectives of the company and individuals, where the values are matching and where when you realize that the objectives of the company and just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second.
Sumedha?
Yep.
Sorry, I had to take care of something. Just one. So where both the objectives are clear and the vision of the company is aligned to the vision of the individuals, you would find that you would be happy stepping into the office in the morning and giving your best for the company.
Okay.
Yeah, because I also believe that the happiest minds are the most productive ones. So that echoes whatever Manoj and Anil sir just covered for all of us.
So Sumedha, I have a googly year for you. You worked 10 years in the IF. This is not planned, it's a googly. So you worked 10 years and now you're in UBS.
Yeah.
How do you see purpose in a corporate environment versus something where you're serving the country? So, some words there. How do you make the switch, and how did you relate to getting into a corporate world after serving 10 years in the Air Force? Because it's very relevant today, right? Today's COVID times. So we want you to talk about resilience a bit, if you are good to go.
Yeah, so I feel resilience definitely means that how well we adjust to the scenarios which we are not aware of, and how quickly we adjust to it, and that's the meaning of it. But coming back to me, that maybe I was already aware because I was a short service commission. So I knew that this is the release date and this is the end of my service with the nation. So that was already kind of pre-decided. But that being said, there was definitely a transition which was required when I moved from defense to the corporate. And the purpose, I feel, these are just these. It's just a journey of life. Like it's a marathon, and we are still discovering. The purpose mostly lies in, to me as a person, whether you are in defense, whether you are in this corporate, or maybe tomorrow I'll be doing something else. But then how well I relate to it, and am I happy doing every day what I'm doing or not? Is it really, kind of challenging me enough to be involved or not? And I guess because it was completely a new world, this corporate world for me, and the kind of role that I'm looking presently. So it is definitely challenging it's been a year. I completed a year 2 days back. So it's been challenging till date, and I hope it keeps going on the same way.
Thank you. Thank you, Sumedha.
Thanks. And I would add, Sumedha, on that, we keep serving the nation even if we don't don the uniform. So we keep
Absolutely.
serving the nation throughout. Because once a soldier is always a soldier.
Yes, sir. How's the Josh? My favorite team.
Very happy.
All right, let's roll, Sumedha. Thank you. Let's roll. So, so just before Sumedha picks this up, I think most of you have done it, and you would have got your results: green, yellow, blue, orange. It is an initial baselining assessment of where you stand today in your life journey. Sumedha is going to briefly talk to you through these various zones.
Guys, just hold on to your thoughts, whatever might be coming to your heads, that the colors you might be relating till date to in your life, that green is best, or yellow is hold on. So just hold on for your thoughts for a bit, because I'll walk you through these zones. And definitely this was not an exam, so nobody has passed or failed. So don't worry about that. So yeah, starting with the first one, that's the orange zone. Which is that you have significant scope to discover your strengths and start walking on your Ikigai journey. You have to be courageous to start with small steps, get your stride, and run the marathon of life. It's time to reimagine, reset, and move with the resilience. So we were just talking some time back about my journey, and that this resilience also reminds me, or it's very relatable in today's world. When the corona has happened, and it's been almost 5 months into it, since all 4.5 months since the lockdown started. We all would have never imagined this life, or we would have never created a scenario like this or a simulation like this, that we will be doing this. Maybe even this session we would have conducted while visiting the office, and that's how we were doing things till now. And now it's so beautiful that 120 of us are sitting in different parts of the country, and we are all connected here together. So this also reminds me of the time then that I was never a very outdoor person, or I was not into much of outdoor sports before I joined defense. And there was definitely, once you join defense, it comes with its own huge package, which transforms you completely as a person. So I never thought of running much. I always kind of hated running. I was, even those mandatory runs in the school or the college, I always used to just complete it to do it or tick it. Okay, I have done it, because I thought I'm not able to run. But then the training, 1.5 years into the training, and I was not aware of my own capabilities, and I could run, my first marathon within 1.5 years of training, and I never thought of it. So that is something that maybe you need to put yourself, you need to push your limits and try out things and adapt to the things, whatever life is giving us, and find our ways through it. All right, and then moving on to the next zone, that is the green zone. That is that your top priority should be to design the Ikigai framework with a clear mindset. You have to set your priorities and passionately pursue the purpose of your life. It's time to discover your Ikigai and work on it through the prism of 10 principles of Ikigai, which we just discussed sometime back with you all. in case you are in the yellow zone, you are on the path to discover your Ikigai. Interesting 10 principles of the Ikigai in your daily life will help you move faster on this journey. It's time to be courageous. Bring out your creative best and hone your purpose. So I'm sure you must be thinking that there are two Fauji's on the panel, and they are, mostly quoting their Fauji experience, because we might have left the Fauj, but the Fauji doesn't go out of us. So this brings back me to another anecdote. So while during the training, and it was just the 4th or 5th month, so all the officers who are joining defense forces, there's a basic military training which is given to all of us so that we are ready for any unprecedented times, and there are simulated scenarios. And one such thing which I really truly enjoyed, which I would have never done otherwise, was a camp, which is a 7 days long camp, when you are put into a jungle, you're staying in tents, there limited supply of water, food, everything, and you're put under the extremities. And then the training goes like that. There are different, in Air Force, we call it squadrons. So there are different squadrons, and there are some particular set of people in them, say for example, 50 in each. So over all these period of these 7 days, there are different competitions which take place, and you have to kind of compete with the other squadron. There are different rules of the game. And one such rule, or the game, part of the plan was the night route march. And I still remember that day. And just to give you a background to the night route march, the qualifying thing was that all 50 of you reach at the destination of after 10 kilometers march, which was through the jungles in the night. And once the last person reaches, that's your time count, and you are competing against the other students. I remember, and if for any reason any one of you drop out of those 50, so there was a negative marking for that as well. So if you're somebody's not well or anything. So I still remember that day. Why? Because I was running 103 fever that night, and I knew if I don't go and I do not take up this march, we might lose on a lot of points. It will be a negative marking for us. So that's, I just wanted to share this example with you guys, that, sometimes it's not the physical conditions, but it's the mind and your will to do things that takes you forward. Moving on to the next zone. So be happy if you guys are in blue zone, but it is very important to keep up the pace and remain there, because it means that you are breathing your Ikigai and you have decided to live a very happy and healthy life. Keep your creativity flowing and look for ways to contribute meaningfully to the community. You have to keep reinforcing your ideas, live your Ikigai, and bring smiles on faces around you. That's what the purpose of this session is, and we all are here with you today. Over to you, Manoj.
And you don't really have to bother if you've fallen into blue zone or yellow zone or green zone or orange zone. Yes, the blue zone guys can say, yay, I'm in the top zone. But as it said, you have to not just live your Ikigai, but you have to bring smiles on the faces of people around you. It's about almost 10 to 12% people they fall into blue zone. It's a worldwide survey that has been conducted. And even we do have a big database now after being at it for some time, and majority of the people fall in yellow zone, which is about 55% land in yellow zone. Green zone, orange zone is about 5 to 6%, and most the rest of the people fall in the green zone. And there's also a red zone, which is very minuscule number of people who fall in red zone, and that's where when you actually have to go to a psychiatrist. So I don't really think any one of the participants in any other zone except green, yellow, or blue here, because orange also is very few people who are there. Manoj? Looks like we've lost connection with Manoj.
No. I'm there. I'm listening to the Fauji's who are in the blue zone, right? We have an axe to grind. But
what about your zone, Manoj?
नहीं ये classified information होता है.
Okay.
No,
One on
but
one.
Only,
One on
only,
one.
only we get it, and
yeah.
individual gets it.
No, so but as Anil said, 55%, 55% are in the yellow zone. So you're bang on if you're there. 12 to 13% are the highly evolved people, a lot of them commonality from the armed forces because of the principles are ingrained into 24/7 the way they live. Green zone is, I think, 29%. And these stats, Abhi, are coming from over 10,000 people globally who have taken this assessment. So, and across various age groups. So life is a continuous process. So if today you're in a blue zone, chances are that you could drop also, right, Abhi? Aisa nahi hai ki you're always in a particular zone. But the idea is you keep progressing forward, bring value to the society, and live the principles, which automatically makes you professionally and personally better. Right. So this is a little bit about the WOPA model we have in the overall program, which is a 10 hours online program, self-paced. The values, objectives, powering action, etc. Again, we won't spend time here. That's not the objective. The objective is to raise awareness about Ikigai and how we can make it a better world going forward for all of you in this program.
Yeah, and I think now it's time that we should give them a small quiz.
Small quiz to know who heard us, who did not, and the results will be shared.
So,
Samir, over to you.
So
Samir.
I'll be sharing this chat box for everyone. So guys, you got the link in chat box. Click on that and do this 20 questions. Very easy, very quick.
So today was kind of a trailer for Ikigai that we gave you because it's a subject which is which we can study in depth, and I think 45 minutes to 50 minutes is not enough to explain to you. We've explained a little bit more in depth about the principles, but we would like, if we have more time, we do dwell into the framework. We try and do some exercises with the framework, help you do the framework, and then we also have dive deeper into the WOPA model and other stuff. But I think you guys have had a kind of a peek into what Ikigai is, and this quiz is all about that. Just
Yes. Simple question. Very simple questions.
Very simple 20 questions for you. I think we'll take about another minute or so, Manoj.
Yes, I think one more minute. As long as they're doing it, it's good. And then we will dive into the interactive Q&A. So I believe Samir, you would be moderating the Q&A, right?
Yeah, we already started getting.
Yeah.
Somebody is asking. Shiv is
Yep.
asking how to maintain goal continuously.
Okay. Okay. So I think another few seconds. So Abhi, you want to shoot the first question to us, or you're going to be the leader without the title and let others step in?
Sorry, I was just finishing the quiz.
Quiz.
So now
Okay.
it's done. It's done now.
So my question was, would you like to take the first shot?
Yes.
Okay,
So
great.
my first shot is like this.
Huh.
So many of us, myself included, so
Yeah.
we are so busy in our day-to-day lives, like
Mm-hmm.
chasing the monthly targets, quarterly, and now even weekly targets,
Mm-hmm.
that we miss on the purpose, the larger picture of life. Yeah. How should we remind ourselves? So I heard
Okay.
you saying that, okay, we should remind ourselves that, okay, uh, this is our purpose. How should we remind ourselves? As long as
Okay.
it is fresh, we would remember maybe for a few days, couple of weeks. After that, what happens?
Hmm.
How do we remind ourselves?
Right. So I think I would first ask Anil to take this, then I will jump in, and then Sumedha will come. So Anil, with your prestigious background, I think थोड़ा ज्ञान दे दो.
ये तो अब आप हमें गुरुदेव टाइप की अब उपाधि दे रहे हैं. नहीं, I guess every day in the morning you have to devote some time to yourself. If you,
Yes.
is as he was mentioning about leader without title, Robin Sharma, he puts it very nicely. You get up in the morning, you write you jot down your points for every single day, and then even at the night when you sleep, you write your own diary, every single day diary, and jot down some points that you want to do every single day. And it's like an accumulation. So every time when you write your points, you're kind of reminding yourself what is so important to you. Uh, like even if you're so busy and the next day you have to go in and meet your targets, even for those targets, if you write your diary and you write your small notes and sticky notes, it keeps reminding you. Your mind is almost like I keep saying this is my favorite. Your mind is like a sponge. So if you keep dropping things on this, it will keep absorbing. So if you drop, it's like if you drop red color, then you drop yellow, then you drop brown, then you drop green, and then you drop blue. Uh, when you squeeze it, what comes out is what went in the last. So if you keep dropping those things and you keep reminding yourself that this is what is important to me, and you can't really have one important thing in a day, or your passionate thing about you have a combination of things. So you would always find that okay, today maybe it's so important to me to spend 15 minutes with my daughter in the morning, or have breakfast with my wife, and then it's important for me to make a sales call, or speak to my distributors. So all that, if you write, you would be able to keep your focus on. So the idea is to come into a habit of writing down what's important to you, so that you are reminded and your brain keeps popping that out to you. Hey, today you have to do that.
Right. So as Anil said, journaling is very important. So Robin Sharma says the 5 a.m. club. So you must journal your goals, journal your personal and professional goals. You must integrate meditation, integrate exercise, integrate the social connect, reading. So basically what we're saying is, what do you do to feed into your soul, your body, and the mind? If you do that every day, trust me, that purpose, the vision, the passion, the path will become a lot clearer. But it is every day. So Ikigai is everyday living. It's not every week living, or it's not every month living. It's every day. What do you breathe in, breathe out? It's very simple. Mindfulness. Inculcate mindfulness in what you do, whether it's having a cup of tea with your colleague. Be completely in that conversation with your colleague. Give him or her the respect. When you're spending time with your wife, with your husband and friends, give them those quality 15 minutes. When you're at work, and whether you're an employee or you're a self-employed, give it the best 8, 10 hours, whatever. But those 24 hours, you have to live in the moment and make the most of it, because it's not coming back. So that's what I would say. Sumita, if you want to add something.
Before you, Sumit, I just wanted to add, even our Prime Minister, I've heard about उनकी जो meetings होती हैं, in those meetings, firstly, no phone is allowed. So none of the secretaries or anyone who's going inside take the phone. And believe you me, he never looks at his phone. So he's always there with the people, and that's so important. So that, as like Sumedha was saying, even he is in the moment, because that's when you are listening properly and you are able to cut down on your time and cut down on your noise.
Actually, my follow-up question was exactly that. With smartphones around, I mean, the biggest distractors, how can we actually focus? So I think you answered it. Do not keep it with you. So that's the only way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, the phone or even the television. I don't have television at home. It's been we are television-free house, because many times you see, it's a one-way traffic. People are feeding into what they want you to listen, and it's just a big distraction for every one of us. So keep those distractions away. There's so much of noise. The idea is world is going to become more and more noise, because we are sitting at home and we are consuming a lot, whether in terms of Facebook, in terms of Twitter. We're consuming a lot of information, and most of the information is noise. So the idea is, how do you take out the clutter from your life and focus on what's important for you? And that's what our Prime Minister's example that I told, and I've got a first-hand account of the person who told me that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree what you just said, Anil. So, and it's I guess all these distractions are so much, and the studies also show now that the attention span of every human being now, with the internet and things on in our hands, it's just decreasing every day. So it is definitely getting more difficult to stay focused. So like Manoj said, that we should when we write, we are reinforcing it in our minds that this is what I want to do today, or maybe tomorrow, or this is my goal, this is week's goal or month's goal. And also when you are when the writing and the meditation, really even if you meditate just for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, a good deep breathing, it relaxes you and you are able to focus more. So it's all about I feel that sometimes it's the major thing that is hitting all the new generations is or all of us is the FOMO, the fear of missing out. What am I missing? What are the LinkedIn posts that I miss? What are the updates on Instagram or anything that I miss? So that is what is killing us our time. Maybe we all need to be updated, we all need to be there, but then we can always have some time, or just have the phones are so smart now, you just tell your Siri or your Google that remind me after 15 minutes, and have read the news or be on social media just for those 15 minutes. So that's what I think we can inculcate.
Abhi, also, thanks, Sumedha. There's also a beautiful research paper called Making Your World Small. So just to give you an example, if all of us have seen the movie Superman, where the young Clark Kent comes back crying one day from school because he realizes he's a special boy. He's hearing sounds from kilometers away, and he thinks he's going crazy. So he goes into the janitor's closet in school and starts weeping. Then he comes home and he tells his mother what happened. And obviously that's the adopted mother. So his mother says, "Son, make your world small." And that's really beautiful, because the minute you make your world small, you're building that focus all around you. You're not worrying about what's happening in the world. Make your world small. And minimalism, right? So that's it's a beautiful paper. I'll share it with you, Abhi. You could share it with your employees.
Wonderful point, Manny. And it actually partially answers my next question, which I was asking. See, many of us are looking for happiness from the external world. Yeah, like for example, a big car, a bigger car, fatter salary, bigger house. And also, as Sumedha mentioned, how many likes am I getting on my Facebook post and on my LinkedIn post? How can we shift this entire fulfillment inside without having being impacted much from what is happening around me, what is happening outside of me.
I think,
So partly you answered by saying make your world smaller,
right,
smaller maybe to the extent myself. Yeah,
right,
is this
right,
what
right.
you meant? Yeah.
So how do you, if I hear you right, you're saying, how do you start the journey of intrinsic happiness? Correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So again, it's very simple. Like Anil mentioned, Sumira mentioned, put those right habits into motion. So what are the things that you do or you ideally want to do on a daily basis that you would say that if I did 10 on 10, I've had a beautiful day? Can you define that and put it in your journal? So for me, it's meditation. For me, it's walking with my dog, running with my dog. For me, it's exercise, me talking to my immediate family, eating right, journaling, working, bringing smiles to people. So the 10 key things, and I practice it religiously. Anil has his own set of 10 things, Sumedha has, and all of us have it, right? But when we start doing it, we will see those joys increase manifold, right? So it's not a one-day journey. Again, you've got to consistently do it and then expand that 10 to make it more productive, to make it more meaningful. And that's when you will realize that you're living the Ikigai life because you're doing something which the world needs. You're doing something what you love, right? And then you're getting good at it. You're becoming proficient at it by you're doing it day in, day out. And finally, if you do all of that, you're going to get that big bonus. You're going to get that whatever, whether you're an employee or whether you're going to get that increased sales. Because if you're a happy person, distributor, vendor, employee, you're going to increase productivity all around you. Customers will buy more from you because, wow, they say, wow, this guy is amazing. This woman is amazing because she or he has a smile and there's a Zenish like appearance to that person who he or she appears sorted. So who do you go to when you want to make a purchase in a showroom? You go to the guy or the woman who is smiling the most, right? You don't go to a grumpy salesperson for sure, right? Who do you lean on in an office? A person who's resilient and who's saying, okay, we're going to do it. I don't have a solution for you at the moment, but we're going to put our heads together and we're going to get that solution versus someone who says, boss, kya baat kar raha hai? Ye to ho hi nahi sakta, ye mushkil hai, whatever. So that's my 2 cents on it. And I'm sure Guru Anil can add more and then Sumedha is there.
Wonderful points, Manny.
So I get reminded of one of my dinners with one of the person who's got $1 billion in his bank, and we had a dinner, and after that we were sitting on the Lake Geneva on one side and having a drink after dinner. So there was a budding trader with us. So without naming names, the older gentleman tells the younger guy who's looking for the next big trade, and then he can buy a big apartment in London, in the center of London, or buy a Ferrari. He says, Mr. X, if you see the biggest things, the things that give you joy, the real joy are for free. So he says, look at Lake Geneva and look at the mountains above that. Look at the Mont Blanc. It is for free for me, and it is for free for somebody who's walking down there, and somebody who's selling, who's having a stall right at Lake Geneva like us. So each one of us is viewing the same view, which is for free. Having said that, studies have gone in which it says, money has a value till certain time, to place, and after that, the incremental value of the money starts decreasing. And after studies have found out that once a person reaches a certain threshold of economic level, after that, anything additional is not really giving them joy, because then it becomes like a race. It becomes like, you want to get one thing, you achieve that, then you start moving to another, then to another.
Anil, the average in Europe and US is 60,000 euros. Beyond that, then money ka jo correlation with happiness changes.
What is the average in India, Manny?
इंडिया में ऐसा कोई published studies नहीं है, but I would say
I wanted to do a quick check with where am I now. So so that's
that
why.
we'll do one-on-one. We'll do one-on-one.
No,
But I
no.
think just to answer, I mean, it's a very important point. If we have a house, we don't need a lavish house. I mean, we have 3 square meals, we have a beautiful family and a good work environment. We are doing very well for ourselves. I mean, that's really the starting point. Greed is not good. Whenever the world went through a phase of greed, a lot of global recession came from, you know, we've got to start living more with less. I think that's really what I would tell you. How do we learn to live more with less going forward? And that's how we would win as a unit and as an individual.
I think corona virus life of last 5 months is teaching most of us that how to live with the less.
Quite a lot actually. All the egos and feeling that without me going to the office or without me doing the sales close, nothing is going to move. All that ego has completely
Abhishek, I
destroyed.
mean, what do we need? We need a few set of clothes that we have used consistently in the last 5 months. वो Ferrari या Mercedes तो खुला ही नहीं ना, गाड़ी बाहर ही नहीं गया, right?
गाड़ी बाहर ही नहीं, अब तो चालू भी नहीं होती है यार, the battery is drained.
And then we didn't go to fancy restaurants to have food. We ate nice meals at home with family. We wore normal clothes, and we connected a lot more. I mean, that's what we believe.
Absolutely.
So,
In fact, I don't like the word social distancing because it's a wrong choice of word. Because I would say it is physical distancing. Do gas ki duri, as Prime Minister says, do gas ki duri. That's a correct nomenclature, because socially we are still connected.
More connected, yeah.
More connected because we are spending more time with our family, which is again we are a social unit. And the similar way we are connecting with our friends, and I've been getting calls from friends from my National Defense Academy days, whom we've not spoken to each other for almost 20-25 years. And suddenly I get a call from one of my friends and he says, "Hey, where are you?" And I'm saying, "Hey, I'm still alive. Are you alive?" So that's what, social, it's a social connect rather than, we are connecting more rather than connecting less.
great. What's the next question?
Just to add on a bit to
Madam,
what we were.
sorry, madam. Yeah.
Yeah, so just to add on to what Abhishek asked, right? And Abhishek, I'm sure since the time you started your journey, I mean the professional journey, you would have, some aims that at this year or by the end of this year, I want to buy this. Maybe I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car. And you were working day in and day out for that. And I'm sure all of us will be able to relate to this. So we work day in, I mean, that is there, that I want to buy this particular car or this particular jewelry or anything. And trust me, do you feel the same? For how long you feel the same once you get it?
Correct.
Absolutely worthless. When I was in my college, I used to feel, a mobile in one hand and a laptop in the other is what happiness was for me. And now I'm saying I'm running, away from these things. So it has
Absolutely.
completely changed.
Probably
And,
yeah, sorry, Mani, go on.
No, please.
Yeah, so probably, it's just that we are not having good one-on-one conversations with our own self. That we are relating the happiness to very wrong things, and those are the live examples. I'm sure all of us have seen it. The moment you get it, the craze goes.
Completely agree. Mani, did I understand you correctly saying that the Ikigai keeps changing? So the Ikigai for me today might not be the Ikigai for me after 5 years. Is that true?
Absolutely. So Ikigai is a constant process from 5-6 years up to 80-90. It keeps changing. But the idea is you must have one. Yeah. And you can have multifold. You can have multifold Ikigai. It's not one. You can have, your daughter can be your Ikigai, your work can be your Ikigai, playing a game of golf can be Ikigai. So it's not one. Ikigai can be manifold, and it keeps evolving. It keeps evolving as long as you have it, and or you search for it. That's the important part.
So is it very? Go on, Anil, please. Sorry.
there's a famous Michelin star chef in Japan.
Uh,
And he must be like 90 plus, and his ikigai is his restaurant. So what he does every single day is gets up in the morning, goes to the market, buys the fresh veggies. He goes to the field. He picks up his own vegetables, cooks, and his son, who must be around like 60 plus, he says, "Hey, Dad, why don't you retire? We have everything. I'm connecting your dots back to the money part." And he says, "Look, this is my passion. This is my ikigai, and I feel most fulfilled and most happy when I can get the fresh ingredients for my customers and for my clients who eat in my restaurant." And that's why he is a 3-star Michelin restaurant guy. But he's living a very active life. So the essence of ikigai is, if you have one ikigai, uh, you have to have one. It can keep moving from different ikigais all around your life. But if you have one purpose, it makes your life fulfilling, and that's why these people live longer and happier and healthier.
Yeah.
the
But as you mentioned that only 10 to 12% of the people
Ji.
have their ikigai or know their ikigai. Everybody has it, but they know their ikigai, right? So I think the framework that you shared, the overlapping circles,
right.
I think that is where we all need to start looking out, spending time with ourselves, looking out for what exactly is our ikigai. And as you said, it's not a straightforward one sitting process. It's a continuous process where we need to understand ourselves and reach to that core, what is our ikigai. Wonderful.
Absolutely, it's looking inward. It's looking inward, and that's what COVID is teaching us. Look inward.
Yeah.
And when we presented to you the framework, for the paucity of time, as I was mentioning to you, the framework itself is like, a couple of hours to be spent exercise. So that's an exercise which individuals have to do for themselves, with themselves initially. What you love and what you do is something which is very important. It just can't be like, okay, I love painting, or I love playing football, or I love making a sale. I love electronics goods. There's a list of things, because you like a lot of things, what you're good at. So that's an exercise that everyone has to do. And it's again a self-actualization process. So when you put your thoughts in a process, that's when you'll come to know what your purpose is, what your true purpose in life is, what you're good at, what you're truly good at, and what your ikigai is.
Am I right in comparing, okay, the understandings from Gita? Gita very famously says that, okay, karm kiye ja and phal ki ichha mat kar. But are we here saying कर्म करने के पहले थोड़ा रुक, understand क्या कर्म करना है, and then you start your कर्म? Is this one additional dimension that we are adding to this?
नहीं, पर ये तो
So very very layman.
नहीं, but गीता में भी ऐसा तो नहीं है कि सिर्फ यही कहा है कि कर्म किए जाए. उससे पहले वो भी बोलता है कि you have to look at the battlefield. You don't really have to know. You have to look at the battlefield. You have to look outside. And when Krishna was giving sermon to Arjuna, it didn't really mean that you don't look at the arsenal that you have, the formation that is in front of you. You have to fight. So yeah, it's an interplay between the external and the internal. So you can't really be, because being a social animal, you can't really say I'm just internal and I will not really take care of what external is. But the thing is, you have to be solid and with in-depth insight, so that you get strength to go externally and do your work. So it's an interplay between external and internal. And yes, in that sense, it's much more simplistic way of putting these principles in life. Ikigai is a simpler way of saying what Bhagavad Gita says. So that's why we are Ikigai.
And when you know your ikigai, it would be even more easier for you to move with your karma even better, even faster, even more consistent, right?
Huh?
Absolutely, a meaningful purpose. And just to go back to that, ये वक्त है reset करना. So you have to step back. You have to step back, reset, recalibrate, reskill, and move forward. So, I think something that I could add, and if Sumedha wants to add anything else.
उसमें भी मतलब भगवत गीता में भी the thing was dharma and karma. So you have to know your dharma and do your karma.
Right.
Absolutely. So I'm sorry, I've taken too much of time with regards to my own questions. I've missed looking at what the chat box says. But nevertheless, Sumedha, first you complete. Sorry, I interrupted.
I was just saying, echoing with what all we just discussed about the relationship between the karma and the Ikigai. I would say, just to add on that, let's not just go by the words that karam karte chal or phal ki ichha mat kar, because it depends what your karam are. It is not that you are doing something in negative direction and you are saying that you are following Gita. So that is not going to sink in with or for the humanity or for the happiness or the purpose that we all are here. There's a bigger purpose that we all are here or we are connected today. But it's not that any karam will definitely not do. So maybe we need to read between the lines and apply. Definitely, God has given us beautiful minds, and we need to use that.
Absolutely. All right, Samir, do we need to take some questions from the chat box?
Yeah. So
I'm just being mindful of time. It's already 6:30 now, and it looks like there are a lot of questions here.
So from the attendees, if you want to ask any question, please raise your hand so that we can get, or you can write in the chat box.
Are you planning to switch the videos then? In that case, can we not do the questions from the chat box?
Yeah, we can certainly. That's what I'm saying. If you can write on chat box as well.
I see a question here from Rohit. If you're having an Ikigai, but you aren't achieving it 100% of it, say like some short-term goals, whether to change this Ikigai or pursue it until you achieve it. Is the question clear?
Yeah, I think, yes, the question is clear. If you have an Ikigai and you're not achieving it to perfection, it is okay. It's called the concept of wabi-sabi in Japan. How do you accept the imperfections of daily life? So Ikigai doesn't have to be perfect, right? There is no perfect job in the world. There is no perfect relationship in the world. There is no perfect moment, right? So it is a continuous process, and you will get better at it. And the whole idea of having an Ikigai is it brings joy to others. So it's a positive thing. We're talking of positive transformation, not negative transformation. So that's what I would say. Anil, you would like to add something?
You covered it pretty well in the sense you have to be persistent in your goals. As military background, as Sumedha was telling, when she joined the academy, she wasn't good at running. But if she dropped it, she wouldn't have survived 10 years in the Air Force because she wouldn't have been commissioned. Because if she failed, right, Sumedha? So
Absolutely.
you have to be persistent. So persistence is the key. I guess if you've been persistent with it in Hindi, I am sure many of people are in Hindi. There's a saying, "Rasri avat jaat pe se sil par parat nishan." So for English, it's like if you start rubbing a rope on a stone, even that makes a line on that. The issue is, are you able to persist with what you wish to do? Because if you come to a conclusion that this is your purpose and this is your Ikigai, using all the framework, using all your thoughts, going inside, talking to yourself and finding out that this is your purpose. And if you start following that purpose and at 1 week or 1 month or 2 months, you start feeling that dejected and you don't have persistence, then you won't be successful, which is in any case. If you're making a sales, I remember as a kid, I was made to sit in the shop of my uncle, and there was a day when like 5 customers will come and they buy nothing. And as a small kid, I was pretty dejected, about 12, 13 years. And if there's a sale, even if for like 5 rupees, I would be like, feeling filled with joy that I did something. But over a period of time, when you have those 10 rejections, people are not buying anything, they're just coming to look around. You have to be persistent. You can't really say, because today nobody bought anything, I won't go back to work.
Yeah, and I would like to take this question a little back, first of all, maybe, if are you really sure that that is your Ikigai? Because there must be something missing, there can be. First of all, we maybe need to realize whether that's the, maybe something I want to be, and I cannot be because I do not have the correct aptitude for it, or I do not have the correct training or inclination towards it. So this all I don't know how many of you have seen this movie. In case you, get some time, watch Maskaban. So that this guy is, thinking throughout initially. That's just a movie. I'm just drawing a
It's a
reference.
beautiful movie. It is a beautiful movie.
So he's just thinking of that his Ikigai, or he wants to be an actor, but he doesn't have the requisite skills, and he's not ready to accept that. So maybe I understand that we have passion for something, but maybe that's not suitable for me as a person, or what is my skill set. So maybe I need to reflect on that and be very truthful to my own self, whether it is I am going in, is it in line with what I'm thinking or not. So, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah,
We'll just take one. Sorry, Anil, go on, please.
So we have one interesting question which I'm reading. Is Ikigai art or science or something superpower? It's a mix of everything. It's a very basic, simple daily lives. I'm sure your parents would have taught you that, but it's just the codifying of those. So I would say it's a social science. It's an art, and it's a social science and art to find the superpower in you. What you're really good at. What is your special superpower? That's what Ikigai is all about. Manoj, you know about superpower, right? We think about that.
I think just to add to what you said, so Japanese are a beautiful race. You see them very peaceful, industrious, innovative, courteous. So Ikigai is also a science. The framework is a scientific way, right, to build it. So, and my favorite thing, Abhi, is each one of us has a secret superpower. We've got to hone on it. We've got to look inward. And if you make that the best, trust me, you would be the best at it over a 7 billion population. And if you do that, there's no looking back. There's no stopping you, right? So that's what I would say.
Completely.
Can Ikigai be part of training in NDA? Anil, would you like to take that?
Meditation.
Fauji.
Meditation. I think they are doing yoga and meditation now. So one of the parts is living in the moment, taking it slow. It's always there. Giving thanks. Saluting is also a giving thanks.
Vishali, salute to you. I'm in Fauj.
Yeah.
Right,
So
Vishali.
salute is almost the similar thing. So when you salute, as Sumedha was saying, you smile. So everything in NDA is anyway Ikigai. So.
Okay, Shashikant. Sorry, Shashikant.
I'm in Fauj. Sorry, this is Shashikant. Okay.
All right, sir. Okay, yes.
I'm just being mindful of time here.
Right.
Manoj, are you?
2 more questions. No, we are good. I think Sumedha madam will drop off because she has another engagement, but between Anil and me, we'll take a few more questions.
Wonderful.
Sumedha has probably 7-8 minutes to go.
Okay. Samir, I think Piyush wanted to ask a question, right?
Yeah.
One of our distributors who, because of this session, read the complete Ikigai book. Yeah,
wow.
And he's got a question. So
what's his name?
Piyush.
Piyush
from Jaipur.
Jaipur, lovely.
Samir?
Piyush ji, bataiye.
Yeah.
Jaipur is such a beautiful city.
Hello, sir. Thank you Thank you, Abhishek sir, and everybody who have actually, arranged this webinar for us. Post reading this book, I was actually very excited to understand this and to join this webinar. So, I was actually waiting, and I was after Samir, कि कब कर रहे हैं, कब कर रहे हैं, कब कर रहे हैं यार. So,
Dhanyawad.
Thank you, Manoj sir, Anil sir, and Sumedha ma'am. I think it was very, very, very insightful for all of us. We would be waiting if we have further Ikigai quests like this, and we can have such exchange of ideas. Thank you so very much.
Definitely.
I have there are a lot of questions, but I will just take one. In search of happiness, I just texted Abhishek sir. I thought once upon a time that having earning enough money would give me happiness. But had enough money, but it was not happiness. Then I thought maybe a glamour or having so much power, it will give us a lot of happiness. But then the conclusion was same. So what exactly and how exactly we should search for happiness? What is exactly happiness, and what is the part to understand that word happiness?
Okay, so first, Dhanyawad. Jaipur is such a beautiful city, one of my favorites. And thank you for reading the book. I think it gives us pleasure when you said that you read the book and you were pushing Samir to have this event. तो हमें बहुत खुशी होता है ये सुनने में. Happiness का 7 billion different definitions है, correct? Everyone has a different definition of happiness.
Maybe even more many. I might have two definitions.
Right.
For myself.
Yeah, and it keeps evolving. ये हर वक्त change होता है.
Right.
ये static नहीं है, it's a very dynamic thing. तो अगर मैं 20 साल का हूँ तो मुझे एक MBA डिग्री चाहिए, example. मुझे एक अच्छा नौकरी चाहिए जिसमें मुझे मैंने कहा 50,000, 60,000 और 1 लाख मिले. मुझे एक अच्छा beautiful girlfriend चाहिए. So it keeps changing, right? When I become 25, the goals change. When I'm 30, the goals change. But the core of Ikigai, or the core of being happy, it lies within you. The answer is within you. As Dalai Lama says, Gautam Buddha says, happiness lies within you. If you can churn that internally, day in, day out, trust me, no force can disturb you. No external force can disturb you. So you have to really look inward and say, what makes me happy? Okay, I mean, of course, professional success is important, but what are the personal things that I can do or I can do to others that makes me happy is my definition of happiness. So I explained my definition is spending time with my family, walking my dog, reading, writing, reaching out to people, conducting workshops with Anil and, Sumedha, etc. So those are the little things. If I do every day, trust me, I go to bed very happy, very, very happy. So that's my own definition of happiness. Anil, what about you? आपको क्या लगता है?
Piyush ji, thank you for such an insightful question. So इसीलिए like we've been trying to reach out to students, क्योंकि somehow the societal pressures are so much. We've been pushing our kids on achieving excellence in school for what? So that they can get a good job. For what? So that they can get good salaries. So what? They can get materialistic things. So what? They can be happy. So that's the way we've been trying to structure our society, and that's where the problem lies. Because once you cross one milestone, the next milestone comes. That milestone, the next milestone comes. Ikigai, if you read those principles, the 10 principles, and you read the book, so you'll realize that slowly but surely, when you start finding smaller things in life, your happiness quotient starts moving up. And that's when you start realizing that when do I smile the most? That's why we were asking you a question. What made you smile? What makes you smile? Nobody said that looking at my fancy car makes me smile. maybe once when you received it, but the value of the fancy car goes down 30% the moment you drive out. And as I was mentioning to you, I have friends who got, there's a friend of mine who has got a car park under the under the courts. He's made tennis courts. Under those courts, there's a car park, and one of the portion of that car park moves into his apartment, which is actually his what do you say, salon, uski baitak. In Rajasthan they would call baitak. So from his baitak he can see his cars, his toys. And I was asking him, when do you drive it? And he said, yeah, I've never driven them per se, maybe once in a year, and I can't really take them out. So looking at his face, I could feel that he's not happy owning those 12 cars, and they are all fancy cars. They are all like Bugatti and Lamborghini and all that stuff. So idea आपने सही पकड़ा है, आपने किताब अच्छी पढ़ी है. So those principles, when you put them in work every single day, and especially for your kids, if they start smiling, if they start being in the moment, if they start taking it slow, if they start enjoying the food, because food is such an important part of our lives. So if they start enjoying the food, they smell the food, they see the food, they almost like hear the food when it is cooking. Those are the small joys that they start accumulating, and that's when you build up a pot of happiness drop by drop. I hope that's my answer.
पीयूष जी, आपको क्रिकेट पसंद है क्या?
हाँ सर, मतलब विद टाइम आई थिंक पहले जब
आपने
ज्यादा पसंद.
अभी आप खेलते हो या देखते हो क्रिकेट?
हाँ, for sometimes we play, देखते तो ज्यादा हैं, but sometimes once a month maybe.
तो आप माइकल क्लार्क को जानते होगे, द ऑस्ट्रेलियन कैप्टन. तो वो मेरा दोस्त है. उसका एक अभी मुझे मैसेज आया, तो मैंने उसको पूछा आपका इकिगाई क्या है? तो उसने बोला मेरा इकिगाई मेरा डॉटर है, बस, सिंपल. ही इज वर्थ मिलियंस एंड ही हैज अ फैंसी हाउस, ही हैज फैंसी बाइक्स एंड कार्स. बट उसने कहा मुझे आई एम हैप्पीएस्ट व्हेन आई स्पेंड टाइम विद माय डॉटर. So just to give you a perspective, happiness का definition क्या होता है? It's not money, it's not cars, it's not fancy things. No, हमें at the end of the day, what makes us happy is within our circle of influence. ज़्यादा दूर नहीं देखना चाहिए. That's what I would say. Sumita, would you like to add?
Yeah, like Piyush started the question with that, how we get happiness or we reach happiness, and I echo what you mentioned, Manoj, that it's different for a different person, or rather for me also, maybe yesterday happiness was something else, and maybe in few years it will be different. So Piyush, only thing I would like to add on here, Manoj and Anil sir have already spoken so much about it, that stop looking for it. There will never be a milestone that after 5 years I'll be happy if I achieve this in my personal life, professional life, financially. But you don't know if if I will have the same health to enjoy the things which I can do today,
So true.
and after 5 years down the line, or maybe the other uncertainties. So that's why the live in the moment and realize that what your happiness is, because we will not be able to answer you what is your happiness. So you ask yourself rather than asking us or the society or your parents, and release that pressure. And trust me, we all will be more happier.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much.
Anil, on the lighter side, your friend has got 12 cars, Porsches and others. अगर वो बोर हो गए तो he can throw one of them in my car park. Yeah. I'll be more than happy.
मैंने पूछ लिया है, लेकिन this Maya in Hindi it's called as Maya. So that Maya जाल से निकलना बहुत मुश्किल है.
Well said. Just being mindful of time, all of you. We have got, although there are many questions here in the chat box, जिसको मुझे लगता है you people would need to write in the book. So
अभी
yeah,
एक छोटा point है. Like Sumita said, living in the moment, and we've been talking. 150,000 people die every day. So we just have to be glad we wake up in the morning. I think that's something. You wake up in the morning, that's the most beautiful gift God has given you. So, that's, some perspective on that. Yes, what's the next question? Sumita madam has to leave in a few minutes. So we'll ask her to answer while she she's got a minute, I think, and then we'll be on the call.
Samir, can you see at the other question in the chat box?
Yeah, we just got one question, and that is, how do you pursue Ikigai in a structured manner?
Okay.
And is there a course?
So sorry, he has got a follow-up question.
Yeah,
He's
is there a
asking,
course?
is there a course
Yeah.
where
Okay,
you could
okay.
guide him?
Yes, of course. We have a course. It's a 10-hour self-paced program. It's online. Again, it addresses the issues, the challenges of not stepping out of your house. It's online. It's hosted on a company from Finland. Finland is the happiest country in the world. So we are merging the European technology along with the Eastern philosophy of Ikigai. So of course there's a course, and we through Samir he can connect with us, no problem.
Dev, I'll share the details with you. Dev Bhutani, I'll share the details with you now.
Okay. We have a last question for the lady. We have a last question for the lady, squadron leader, before she flies off.
Fly off to another call.
Yes. So we'll allow you one question in case you can. Otherwise, we are happy to.
So is it, I've got a question, very similar to what we learned from the Vedas and the other, material, yoga, meditation, eat healthy, eat fresh, eat almost
Nature,
80% there.
connecting
I'm not
nature,
sure whether they mention 80% or not,
family.
but eat less than what is required. In many aspects, it's very similar to what is written in our Vedas and other books, right? Very, very
Absolutely.
similar. It is, Ikigai has given a structure to a lot of it, but very similar. The concepts are very similar to what is written in the Vedas and all.
Yes.
Am I right in understanding this, Mani?
Yeah, so madam, you take 1 minute, and then Guru Anil ji, this is his favorite question. So
Wow.
I always step out of this one. I always step out. So Samira, you want to start the opener and
Yeah,
then.
thanks, Manoj. So yeah, like Manoj mentioned that Ikigai is a scientific study, and there's a structure and few of the frameworks we did discuss today very briefly and touched on that how you can go about it. You will always see a few of the glimpses, like earlier you compared it with Gita, and maybe somebody's from different religion and following something else, or different set of rules. So there are a few glimpses of everything, with this framework. But this is our idea to take this forward, to put it in a more structured way, so that we can, because I feel that most of the people are more educated now, and the literacy rates are even increasing in India as well. So if you have to convince them, right, even if you have to convince me for a sale, you will have to come to a common level, that you have to give your sales pitch, that why I'm asking you for this. So this is something like that, so that you can relate to that.
Do you
how
need
these
a TV, Sumedha, for your house?
I already have.
Sorry to cut you off. Go on, please.
Yeah, so I think Sumedha needs a TV, washing machine, kafi kuch.
Everything.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. I'll drop off because I have to
Thank
jump
you.
on to another call. This was a wonderful session and really enjoyed it.
And Sumedha,
Thank you,
thanks a lot for
Sumedha.
your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you,
Wonderful
madam.
knowledge sharing. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Catch you later. Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Anil ji. Anil ji.
नहीं तो
Anil San.
Anil san.
see, primarily, when I go back to when we started becoming social animals. So when we started becoming social animals, that's when the structure of society started building up. And yeah, I mean, organized religion. I don't say religion, but I would say organized religion, which propped up in different parts of the world, whether it is Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism. They all were basically integrating the social needs of their time into the teachings with an overlay of the Almighty, the Creator, which was there much before the organized religions came. So you're right in the sense every religion, and especially the older societies and older civilizations like India, have its deep-rooted social ethos, which are codified in our social structures, and which we are taught through our scriptures, whether it is Vedas, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, or Ramayana. And many of these things are there. And as you mentioned, yoga also teaches us to be taking it slow, breathe, meditate. Uh, so in that sense, it's very similar. As Sumedha was saying, it's more to do with because we become a bent of scientific mind. And mind you, Ikigai comes from the land of the Buddha, because Japanese are also Buddhist. So there are a lot of similarities between Buddhism and our social structure in India. So yes, you will find commonality not just with Hinduism, but with Christianity also, because Christianity also speaks about the Holy Spirit. So when it says about the Holy Spirit resides in you, it is basically saying, look at what your purpose is, what your Ikigai is, what you're good at, and what you're built for. So this is kind of a simplistic way of structurally a scientific way of teaching people. It's not really religious in the sense. It's more social, so that acceptability is more. So I would say that's the difference between Ikigai and organized religion.
And because of the structure that it gives, I think it is much more simpler to understand, much more simpler to implement. So
It lies in simple things, if smelling your coffee, if you like smelling your coffee and you can differentiate between Arabica and the other type of coffees, or India coffee, and you find joy in that, that's a simple Ikigai.
By Abhi, so
yeah,
I'm sure in Delhi you have these famous puchka places, Pani Puri, right? Correct?
yeah,
That
Pani Puri is more in Calcutta, Manny.
Okay, wherever. Sorry.
Yeah,
So just an example.
Yes.
Just an example, like that first.
So you
Pani
hit the
Puri.
right chord. That's my favorite. That's why I
Okay.
clarified that it's Calcutta.
So the first Pani Puri that goes into your mouth, it's amazing. It's better than a 2,000 rupees burger somewhere. I'm just, an example, right?
Absolutely, much better.
So that's really what it is. So, that's what I would probably tell you.
Are you remember many during our Harvard Business School sessions? बॉम्बे में एक दो बार हम लोगों ने वड़ा पाव मंगा के खाया था.
Absolutely. The best vada pavs in the world. Kirti College. And Bombay obviously is famous for vada pav. Yeah.
All right. So I think there are a lot of questions still left unanswered. So for that, I would request both of you to write a book so that it becomes much more helpful for people like us who have a lot of questions, a lot of confusion, a lot of busyness in terms of, on day-to-day things, day-to-day activities. So it was really, really an insightful, fantastic session, Manny, Anil, that we had. Really, from everybody here, I would really want to thank both of you and also Sumedha for making this such an interactive, such a wonderful learning experience for us. Also, I would like to thank everyone who has joined in, and I'm sure this session is going to help all of us in our quest to finding our own Ikigai. Thanks a lot, everyone.
And before we leave, I'd just like to play for everyone one small video. We leave you on a positive note.
I am positive. जी हाँ, मैं positive हूँ. सब कुछ बदल गया है. चीजें पहले जैसी नहीं रही. परेशानियां हैं, मजबूरियां हैं. इस सब ने हमें बहुत सताया है और थोड़ा सिखाया भी है कि एक दूसरे का ख्याल रखना, नेचर और एनिमल्स को बचाना, खुद को काबिल बनाना, हमेशा हौसला मजबूत रखना, घर पे हाथ बटाना, रिश्तों को मजबूत करना, एक बेहतर इंसान बनना. आने वाले कल में मैं तेज कहता रहूं. Let's not go back to who we were. Let's be who we were always meant to be. Because we were all meant to live like this. We were all meant to live well.
I am positive. I am positive. I am positive.
Yes, I'm positive. I am positive.
Anil, Manny, we all are very positive. And before we end, the Josh is really high, Anil. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Manny.
you. Have a good, safe weekend. Happy weekend. Thank you once again.
Thanks, and same to you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Have a nice
Bye.
evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.